XRP is currently sitting at around $2.18. Bitcoin, on the other hand, is showing some solid strength right now. If BTC can manage to hold the 1.056 level in this zone over the next few days and turn it into solid support, then we're seriously looking at a breakout, potentially a short-term rally to the moon. Now, what's wild is something David Schwartz said years ago, and it just so happens he said it on this exact date. Take a look at this. This is where things start getting a bit unusual, if you ask me. We already know David Schwartz has a reputation for dropping cryptic hints. He's an insider after all, so why wouldn't he tease a little? It all feels like part of the game. And now, here comes the fun part. The XRP community and its obsession with patterns. So, let's take a closer look. Back on June 7th, 2019, David Schwartz tweeted something curious. What's the first rule of Moon Club? Maybe you shouldn't talk about it. That was posted exactly on June 7th. Today's date? Also June 7th. Different year, sure, but the date alignment is what matters. A clear delta. Now tell me this isn't bizarre. 6 to 7. Moon talk. And silence. As if he's nudging us to pay attention without saying it out loud. But I started to notice something bigger going on. Want to see the connection? Because again, on 6-7, he tweets about the moon. That's not just a coincidence. It feels intentional, and if you add 6 and 7, you get 13. That number keeps popping up. Baba Cux talked about this. Supposedly, the so-called Railers reached out to Baba Cux from the very beginning, because he figured it out. The magic number, 13. Then there's 22 too. Add up 5, 8, and 9. You get 22. But it all comes back to 6, 7, and 13.67. The moon signal. That's the date Bearable Guy 123 always hinted at. He said, so it begins. And now we're hearing things like, follow me to the end. The end of what? The moon cycle? Will you be here when it all plays out? This stuff isn't just random. These people move with numbers. And I'm not even joking when I say it starts to feel like a simulation. And listen to this. On 5/14/2021, David Schwartz said, today was a good day. Added up, it lands on 13. Brad Garlinghouse tweeted the same thing on 4/6/2021. Again, 13. Reverse Bearable Guy? Same line. Same date math. Again, 13. So what's the big deal with 13? Maybe we already have the answer to when XRP moons, but nobody sees it, even though it's right in front of us. David Schwartz has been dropping these signs all along. And it keeps getting more surreal by the day. Either these XRPL devs are trolling us hard, or there's way more going on than we realize. Right? I mean, at this point, it's binary. It's either a yes or a no, a 0 or a 1. There's no in-between here. Because what we're looking at is literally David Schwartz's official Bitcoin wallet. Yes, Joel Katz himself, that's his. Known alias, and this wallet is tied directly to him. No guessing. No speculation. That's his wallet, folks. David Schwartz is Joel Katz. He even said it himself. Hi, I'm David Schwartz, CTO at Ripple. Most of you know me online as Joel Katz. That's straight from his own blog. And sure, there are a lot of blogs out there. But this one? This one's his. Now here's where it gets even weirder. What's the address connected to that blog? His Bitcoin wallet. Allegedly, of course, but let's take a look at the details. The balance? 0.005589 BTC. Hold on, 5589? You're telling me that's not a coincidence? Because that amount in Satoshis equals, get this, exactly $5.89 at the time. You can't make this stuff up. That's a double 589 right there, hidden in plain sight. It's all encoded, right there in his Bitcoin wallet. And honestly, it's starting to seem like Bitcoin itself might be tied to this whole 589 narrative. And remember, 589 isn't just a number, it's symbolic of the reset, the collapse, before the rebuild. Total destruction before transformation. Guys, I'm honestly mind blown right now. What's really happening here? Davis Schwartz. It's like he's part of some strange game. And as the famous line goes, the only winning move is not to play. That quote was just shared by Mini Archie, and it hits differently today. Even Ripple Riddler liked a tweet from StaySafe33 that echoed the exact same idea. It's almost like if you're choosing to play this game, you've already lost. And I'll admit it. I played, I chased, and I fell right into it. I was the fool. So take this as a warning. Don't fall into the trap. Don't become a fool chasing smoke. And mirrors, because the outcome, it's already written. The end is guaranteed. Chris Larson once said it himself. If Ripple manages to handle just 10% of Swift's total transaction volume, XRP could easily skyrocket to over $1,000 per token. And now, even financial pundits are weighing in. One recently stated that XRP could stabilize around the $1,000 mark, eventually becoming a high-value premium asset. Not just a moonshot, a new standard. Look where this is all heading, guys. Seriously, come on. At this point, it's clear. The only winning move might be to not play the game at all, because once banks and major institutions step in, once XRP gets locked in for large-scale financial use, it's not just going to hit $1,000. It could stay there permanently. And honestly, that might just be the floor. When we start talking about global liquidity demands and real utility, XRP will need to be valued much higher to serve its attribute's purpose. Let's be real. When banks start moving money globally, we're talking insane amounts. Trillions? Quadrillions? Who even knows the real number? All I can say is, it's massive. So let's just put this out there. XRP at $1,000. That's not enough. Not for the scale it's meant to operate at. If XRP is really going to run the new financial system, liquidity-wise, it has to be in the 5-digit range. No question. Now, Barry's prediction? It makes sense. He's not just guessing. He's basing it on what happens when banks and big money fully integrate XRP. Once XRP becomes part of the global banking backbone, processing trillions every single day, the price won't bounce around like a meme coin anymore. It'll stabilize. It'll lock in. Because utility takes over. When that shift happens, XRP won't have bear markets, no more dumps. Why? Because it's working 24/7, running behind the scenes to power the new global infrastructure. People laugh at us. They call us crazy. But scroll through David Schwartz's tweets, the cryptic posts from Ripple insiders, you start to wonder, are they the crazy ones? Or are they showing us what's really coming? And if you're thinking, wait a sec, XRP to 10K? That market cap would be ridiculous. Just stop. That logic doesn't apply here. XRP isn't like other tokens, because XRP settles transactions in 3 to 5 seconds. That means each XRP can be reused up to 50 times a day. So to move $1 trillion in daily volume, you don't need 1 tithe in XRP. You only need around $20 billion worth. That's the power of velocity. Now imagine a fully tokenized world economy. We're talking governments, central banks, corporations, all transacting in real time. You need XRP to be worth 5 digits to handle that scale. Mr. Poole tried to tell us. Not just 5 and 9. You better sit down for this. He was talking about a system valued at up to $2 quadrillion. Even if XRP only handles 10%, that's still trillions moving daily. And again, XRP's supply is capped at 53 billion. That limited supply, paired with global liquidity demands, price has to explode. That's why market cap doesn't matter. Here, XRP's value is based on what it does, not what people think it's worth. It's not speculation. It's infrastructure. So could XRP hit $10,000? I'd say it's not only possible, it's necessary. Drop XRP in the comments if you're with me. Now let's talk symbolism. Lucifer will rise. That's the ritual. Elon Musk once said, "The most entertaining outcome is the most likely." So what's more entertaining? Bitcoin to zero? Or XRP rising from the ashes as the savior asset? Once upon a time, Elon said Doge would be the heart of the new system. a meme coin. So what's really going on? Will it be XRP and Doge, side by side, carrying the future? One thing's for sure. To get there, the pieces must fall into place. And now, breaking news. President Trump is about to name the next Fed chair. But we're not just waiting for anyone. We want Judy Shelton. You know it. Mr. Poole hinted at it long ago, before anyone else even had a clue. Mr. Poole, yes, that insider, he already knew. He hinted way ahead of time that Judy Shelton would be the one. And now? It looks like she's about to be nominated as the next chair of the Fed. But let's not pretend we don't know who Judy Shelton is. This isn't just some random pick, because once upon a time, she made a statement that caught everyone's attention. She spoke about the gold standard, but in a modernized digital context. In her own words, she said something like, "I don't necessarily see us going back to the gold standard. At least not in the traditional sense." What she implied, though, possibly a crypto-based standard, a digital gold 2.0, and that's exactly the kind of system XRP could thrive in. It's not just a return. It's more like Back to the Future, if you ask me. That's how Judy Shelton described it. She wasn't calling for a traditional gold standard revival, but rather a modern evolution of it. One rooted in monetary discipline. She emphasized that money should serve its true purpose, a unit of account, a stable measure, and a store of value, not something manipulated depending on who happens to be leading the Federal Reserve. As she put it, it really shouldn't depend on who the Fed chair is. Now here's where it gets futuristic. According to Shelton, this modern gold standard might incorporate a digital currency element. She pointed out that today's central banks are failing to give the private sector what it needs: stability. Under the gold standard, that stability was there. And I think that's what's missing today, she said. And she even suggested, this new system could operate in a very crypto-like way. So while the world sleeps, the new financial system is taking shape. And most people are too distracted to notice. They won't look. They won't listen. Meanwhile, we're watching the madness unfold. Interest rates stay flat, inflation gets ignored, borrowing continues unchecked. It's chaos. The system's losing control. And while politicians are already thinking about who will lead the Fed next, behind the scenes, it's becoming more obvious. Judy Shelton is the quiet front-runner. Her vision? Digital gold. A crypto-backed monetary reset. And then, we get the Ayatollah tweeting, "Moon it." Seriously, what's going on? Everything's starting to align. My sources, they're saying, we're entering a 10-day window that could be life-changing for XRP holders. This is just the beginning. But mark my words, it's coming. He was like, call me out if I'm wrong. He mentioned it too. I met up with my contact at BlackRock in Miami over coffee, and he handed me 2 XRP-related key dates, June 13th and June 16th. Why those dates? There are just 9 days left before things escalate. By June 16th, the SEC needs to file an update with the appeals court regarding those unresolved settlement talks. According to Attorney Bill, something has to move by then. Pretty wild, right? There's a lot brewing, but plenty are still feeling bearish, at 6-7 even. All the tweets today are pointing to 6-7. That's when the storm kicks off. At 6-7, let's take a moment to meditate. Let the sun's warmth fill your heart. Oh, and fun fact, June 7th is National Bubbly Day. Champagne time. I've even seen nods to that from David Schwartz before.